on the next leg of the journey. And so tonight we're going to be talking about the journey to transformation. The journey to transformation. So last week we started out the first lesson. So we began last week primarily talking about, what a journey is, and that, God expects for his people to move forward. Okay, so journey simply means to depart, to move forward, to go, to set forth, to go forth. And so we began to talk about, comparing a journey to, like when you're taking a trip somewhere, you're going somewhere, and all of the different parts of the journey that you have to take, from leaving home to get to your, whatever, if you're going by train or airplane or wherever you're going, that's one leg, and then you get to the connecting place, that's one leg, then you get to a hotel, that's another leg. So it's just on your journey that there are different portions or different parts, different sections of a journey. And so we are on a leg, and so God wants us to move forward. One thing, I want to go back to a couple of things that we talked about. One thing we talked about was making sure that we are moving forward in God. Anytime that we say we're setting out on a destination, on a journey, we need to make sure that we are moving forward in God. And we talked about, remember what we talked about, that you cannot, if you're going to move forward, you cannot keep going back to the starting place. Y'all remember that? Keep going back to the start. Because if you keep going back to start, guess what? You will never get to where you're going. So that's even in life, you keep going back to where I messed up at. Keep going back to, I didn't do this right. Keep going back to, I thought I was forgiven. Keep going back to that when God said, no, you've gone beyond this place. Let's keep on moving. Keep going back there. We forgot that. All those things are what? Passed away. And we use Philippians as one of the scriptures that we used about not looking back. Philippians chapter 4, where Paul said, I press on toward the mark of the high call. And then we talked about looking at the rearview mirror. The rearview mirror is for what? Glancing back, not looking back. You glance back to your past, but you don't keep looking back. You just take a quick glance. Y'all know when you're driving, you do what? You don't keep looking in your rearview mirror, do you? Why? Otherwise, you go crash. You go wreck. You go crash. You go run into somebody or something. Keep looking at it. And that's how it is in life. Keep looking back, you can't move forward. You got the whole big old windshield in front of you, and you keep looking in that little teeny mirror up there to try to see what's back there. God said you got to move forward and not backwards. Now, one thing I did talk about last week that I meant to talk about was layovers. Layovers. Y'all know what a layover is? Or a stopover. Sometimes it's a stopover. Sometimes, they kind of use those words interchangeably. A stopover or a layover. A layover is, okay, so especially when you're talking about airlines, or when you're flying somewhere, you got a connecting flight. And so you leave one place, and then you get to your connecting place, and then you got a layover, because you might have a minute before it's time for your connecting flight. So that's a layover. Now then they call what they got state stopovers. Stopovers are similar to layovers, but it's like, okay, I flew from my destination spot where I left off at. I got to my connecting flight, then what happened? Something happened. They canceled the flight, some kind of weather thing happened, something happened that I cannot reach my connecting flight. And I might be able to rearrange things so I can catch another flight, or I might not. Depends. And that means, sometimes it means what? I got to stay over till the next day. Because they don't have no other arrangement. We can't fly into that city or whatever. Everything is on hold. Either you got to go back home, or you got to make your way there some other kind of way. Okay? So what does that mean for us in life? So that means, remember, journey means what? Moving forward. And that means that sometimes in life there are going to be things that is what? Beyond your control. It had nothing to do with you. You was doing your part. You was doing what you're supposed to do. And all of a sudden, something interrupted where you was going to make you have to what? Hold up a minute. Okay? It caused you to stop for a minute. It caused you to hold up for a minute. Now, in that hold up, in that stopping, that waiting, it don't mean for you to wait, I'm so down. You know how people, have you ever been in the airport where people act a complete fool when something like that happens? They act a total fool. Carry on so bad. Just carry on and curse people out and huffing and puffing and just, acting a fool. And so, but in life we can't do that. if you got a stopover, if you got an interruption, it is not the time to use to moan and groan and complain. It's not that time. Because life does happen. Things happen in life that sometimes beyond our control. It is up to us how we respond to those things, to those layovers, to those stops. It's up to us how we respond to it. So what do you do? So, okay, I'm going to take them. I always got my little reader. I got my music. I got something. I'm going to sit down over here in this chair until y'all tell me what's going to happen, I'm going to sit down. I'm not going to worry, complain, carry on, because they're going to provide something for me, Might not be what I want. I might be a little aggravated, but guess what? I'm not cursing nobody. I'm going to go over here and sit down and read my book. Y'all help me to get where I need to get. If I got to stay over, they go provide transportation to me to a hotel nearby. Y'all got it. So you don't act the fool. In life, there are going to be stops. There are going to be layovers. There's going to be things that kind of try to stop your progress when you're trying to go somewhere. But you cannot allow life to throw you for a loop. You have to remain in control at all times. Don't let life just toss you up and down all the way around and you just responding like a fool. No, don't do that. Take control of that. So we was talking about that last week. The layovers. All right? We're just doing a quick little recap, y'all, from last week. And then we talked about Lot's wife, Miss Lot. Y'all remember that? Miss Lot. We talked about her last week. What happened to Miss Lot? Miss Lot looked back and turned into what? A pillar of salt. And we looked at her life to try to figure out what was it about Miss Lot that make her look back. And so we came to the understanding that really that was her home. That's where she lived. I don't care how, we said it was full of sin or whatever, it was where she lived. That was her home. That's where she raised her children. Her family was there. Her friends were there. Everybody that she knew was right there. It was comfortable for her. You know how people say, I know how to operate here. I know, people, a lot of us say, I don't want to go to the city. And I want to go to New York City. No, don't take me there. But the people in New York City, what they say, they know how to operate in New York City. We from down south, no, we can go for a visit, but we're not saying. All right? So that's how it was with Miss Lot. We looking at it and saying, well, it was just full of sin, every kind of sin you could think of, but she was like, well, this is my home. This is what I know. This is what I'm comfortable with. And so when God said, come on, you got to get out because I'm getting ready to, burn up this whole city. The whole thing is going to be destroyed. Yeah. The grace is upon your life, Lot, in your family. Where you already know the sons-in-laws of Lot, they already said, well, no, we ain't going. This is what you kidding me? We having too much fun. That's how people going to be at the end of the day, young people. Jesus. People trying to warn you, to come on in, come on, let's go. They laughed, come out, it's a joke, so they stayed. So Lot took his wife and his daughters and said, come on, let's go. And so they, proceeded to leave the town. And poor Miss Lot, she was longing so much for home. She was longing, so it wasn't even just to look back in the natural, it was to look back in her mind, to contemplate, to rethink, to have respect for that place that she came from. She was longing so much for it that she could not look forward to what God had in front of her. And a lot of times we don't know what God has in front of us. It's a walk. That's why we call it what? It's a walk of faith. We just trust God that He's going to get us to where we need to be, and we know it's always going to be for our good. Yes, ma'am. Miss Vera had an answer.
I was studying Lot's wife this week, and it was saying that what she really did, she interrupted the process.
She interrupted the process. Amen. That's exactly right. We trying to move forward, get out of here. She started the journey, and then all of a sudden, she stopped to look back. You can't do that. You cannot do that. When you're moving forward in God, when God is giving you instructions, and it's hard, it's easy for us to say, because we do it too. We do look back, meaning we contemplate things of, oh, did I do the right thing? I shouldn't have did that. Why did I have to leave that? Why did I do that? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? We journey back in our minds on wondering if we did the right thing. Wonder was that God or was that God? I don't know if that was God or not. Maybe I didn't make the right decision. Well, are you a child of God or aren't you? You got to move forward because God honors walks of faith, whether it was him talking or not. If you walk it out believing that it's God, I ain't talking about nothing sinful. I'm talking about in life. I'm just talking about moving forward, whether it's with a job or, decisions like that. I believe I hear God, and if I believe I hear God, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to hold on to that because I'm walking by what? By faith, and I know that if I'm walking by faith, what? God's got me. Y'all understand that? So we worry too much about whether we're going to make the right decision or not. If you prayed, if you contemplated what God has said, then we'll go ahead and move forward. Step in it. I heard one man not too long ago, he said sometimes, when we, for instance, he said a lot of times when we think that God has called us to do, let's say, a work or start a ministry or something like that, and and it won't leave you alone. And sometimes he said it really is not God, but what God allows you to do is go ahead on and do it. Go ahead on and start. And then if it fails, then at least I started out believing in what I thought was God, even if it wasn't God. Isn't that something?
That's right.
If it fails, it just fails. It don't matter. You still are in what? In God. You still did what you thought was right. Now at least now I can put that to the side. I know I shouldn't have done that. That wasn't the right road. I should have went left, I went right, but I'm still in God. Don't understand? I'm not going back to sin. I'm still progressing in God.
Okay.
I'm still progressing in God. So I can just lay that aside. That can go off my mind. I ain't got to keep on worrying about whether I'm supposed to, do this or not. Now I can lay that to the side and keep moving. We worry too much. God is not like that. If we have faith in God, we have faith in God. We have confidence in God, we have confidence in God. We worry too much about, God's going to get me. I didn't make the right choice. I did the wrong thing. No, it's not like God is not like that. That's how man operates. That's how man thinks. God is not like a man. He don't think that way. He trusts. Sometimes he's so excited even when we begin to step forward doing things that we believe that he's calling us to do. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
So move forward in God. Quit worrying so much. It's like this. She just was so comfortable. And that's another thing. We so comfortable. We know how to operate where we operate now. We know where we are now. We're comfortable at the place that we are now. And so when God said, I need to do something different. No, it's time to leave that alone. We still trying to hold on to it. Our fingernails, still holding to the That's how it's going. Still trying to get back. Ooh, no, No. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. And then I put it, we said too, if it wasn't for the grace and mercy of God, we too would be a pillar of salt. Because we look back. We look back.
Look back and go back.
She said we look back and go back. Not just look back. She just looked back in her mind. She contemplated back then. She thought about Gomorrah, Sodom, whichever one it was, Sodom and Gomorrah. Both of them got burned up. She contemplated going back. She thought about going back. She thought about her life back there. She thought about everybody, God said, I can't use you. I'm telling you. A lot of times, I believe, y'all know I told you I got my own gospel, right? I believe that some people go home to glory, to heaven, before it's time.
You got that right.
Because they won't fulfill purpose.
Exactly. Or they block it.
And if God sees that they are not going to fulfill purpose, then he let them, come on, man, I don't need you in the earth.
Right.
You're down here to do a work for me, and if you can't fulfill the work that I placed you to do, he hauling around the back and gets, come on then. Jesus. That's what happens. You can't move to the next place. I'm telling you to come forward, you still stuck there. Jesus. Well, if you don't poop, it's all.
Yeah.
Remind us what God called you for. You don't fall. Yeah.
That'd been the pink one. That'd been the pink salt. Just whoop salt.
She's a testimony. testimony from then to now. She's still a testimony. Don't look back. When God's calling you forward, don't look back. His grace is good, but sometimes, God gives His grace as He decides. We don't know when His grace is going to run out.
Jesus.
It's going to last forever. All right. So we're going to be in the book of Numbers. Everybody got their Bible?
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to be jumping around, so I hope you got the Bible, the book of Numbers. Book of Numbers. All right, so what is the book of Numbers? So first of all, the book of Numbers describes the Israelites' 40-year journey through the desert on their way to the promised land. All right, this is their journey from Egypt to the promised land. And this is their journey, yeah. So let's take a quick little survey. So in the book of Genesis, we understand that God made certain promises to Abraham, and God told him that his descendants would be given the land of Canaan. So remember, the promised land is the land of Canaan. Okay, that's what they were going. I'm on my way to Canaan land. That's the promised land. Okay, and God had already promised that to Abraham that it belonged to them. So they just going to the place of promise, because that's what God had promised them. Everybody got it? Mm-hmm. God promised them Canaan. Okay, we leave Egypt. We're going to the place that God has promised us. Okay? And He promised them that the nation will be blessed through Abraham, and that God will bless him, and He will curse those who curse Abraham. And so there, Abraham's family grew, and by the time you end with the book of Genesis, it was about 70 people who were descendants of Abraham. Okay, down there in Egypt. Okay, so they left, and now they're in Egypt. So by the time the book of Exodus come around, I meant to look at that number again. It was over a couple million people coming out of Egypt. Because remember, they went down into Egypt. They stayed in Egypt too long. It was over 400 and something years before they were able to come out. And by the time they were in there, what happened to them? There was once a good, free people, but now they ended up being held in bondage by Egypt, okay, by the Pharaoh. And so, God is so good. We said last week about how God heard the cry of His people down in Egypt. They began to cry out to God and say, how long? We down here. You made all these promises to us. We down here. We stuck. God, come deliver us. Come set us free. Blah, blah, blah. All of that, right? And so God has already over there. God is just so amazing to me, Before you even really pray, He already got Moses over here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Moses done been born. Moses growing up over here in Pharaoh's house, He learned all this great stuff about Egypt and all of that. We don't even know God over here. We over here crying out, but God already over here with the solution. Mm-hmm. Before even really we begin to pray, He got the solution. It's coming together over here on a different place.
That's right.
Ain't that something? That's why we got to quit worrying. God know what He's doing, I promise you. We worry just too much. He already got the answer for whatever our situations are. So He already got Moses over there. So Moses ended up being the one to come forth to carry the people of Israel out of the place of Egypt. Okay? He's come to be their leader, to lead them out of slavery. All right, that's in the book of Exodus. Then the book of Leviticus is more of a book about the rules and the regulations, the do's and the don'ts. These are the rules. These are the guidelines. This is how you're supposed to operate. This is how the priest's supposed to operate. This is how the people's supposed to operate. This is the code of conduct. Mm-hmm. All of that is found in the book of Leviticus, okay? Mm-hmm. And then so we end up now in the book of Numbers, all right? So what we're going to find, go to the next slide, guys. In this, secret, get a grip on this. All right? So we're going to get a grip. This here is very important. This is going to help us understand this book of Numbers. So Numbers represents an important stage in the journey of God's people. The journey through the wilderness was an essential part of their transformation from slavery to freedom. Their journey revealed what was inside of them. fulfill the long suffering of God. We're going to see all of this in the next week or 2 or 3. Their journey is a guide of understanding and wisdom for us as we progress on our journey to transformation. All right? So what is this book about? It's about, it's about them leaving Egypt. So excited. God will set us free. He'll set us delivered. We weighed down so much good things. We're coming up out of this place of bondage. We're going on our journey. We're going to the promised land. But guess what? We got to get there. We got to go through this wilderness, this dry place, in order to get to the place of promise. We got to get to that next place. All right? Let's go next. So what was the purpose? The purpose of Israel's journey was total transformation. It was to take Egypt out of the Israelites. Do that make sense? To take Egypt out of the Israelites. Because really, think about it. If they had been down there 400 and something years, depending on how long people lived during that time, they've had deaths, they had new births. And so really, they were more Egyptian than Israelites. Y'all understand that? Their culture was more Egyptian culture than their own culture. They knew more about how Egyptians do things than they did how God does that. God was their God. They knew all about that. And so, so in order for them to get to the place that God got to get all that mess out of them. All that slavery mentality. That depending on people mentality. That looking to the Pharaoh mentality. That living according to how a Pharaoh said live mentality. He got to get all of that out of them. You can't just jump over to the promise with the wrong mentality. You understand that? God want to bless you with great things, but what? You can't get there because your mind is not in the right place to be able to accept and receive it. So they got their eyes on the promise. They're so excited that they're going there, but guess what? They can't get there right away. Why can't they get there? Because their mentality is wrong. Now, what's so amazing about it is really God could have changed their mentality in a short period of time, 40 days. That's all it took for them to travel physically, walking on the donkeys or whatever they was walking on, traveling from Egypt to the promised place. It would only take them, 40 days. That's what the scripture said. It would have taken them, it was a 40 days journey. Why did it take them 40 years? Because their mentality was broken. They got to break, he got to get that Egyptian slave mentality out of them in the wilderness. The journey is going to break you down.
Jesus.
Y'all understand that? You're going to be transformed. That journey, your journey is going to break you down if you respond like God wants you to respond. Otherwise, that's why they ended up keep going round and round in circles. And that's why some people died out. Why? Because they would never get it. They couldn't go to the place of promise because their mentality was still not right. And so God said, well, you know what? I just got to let y'all walk around and around and around in circles and circles and circles and circles and circles until y'all just die on out. And I got a new generation that's going to rise up, that's going to go forward into the place of promise. Isn't that something? Because there's some people just stubborn. They don't want, it's hard for them to accept change. It's hard for them to accept change. It's hard for them to see things a different way. They see things how they see them, and no matter how people try to tell them, you can take something, it's like a computer. Now, I ain't calling no names in here. But some people have a hard time with electronics, Tell the truth.
Jesus.
Some people a little bit more advanced. I know the basics. I can get around. I know what to do. But some people, they struggle with the use of technology and stuff like that. And it's almost like they're resisting change. They're resisting to try to use it. They're resisting trying to figure out, okay, this is how people, operate now. They don't do, we were talking about that, They don't really operate too much on paper and stuff. You know, you got to learn how to find stuff electronically.
Mm-hmm.
And people, the more we tell, you know, especially baby boomers and older, I'm a baby boomer and older, the more we tell them, you got to learn, try to learn some of this stuff. You don't want to be left that far behind. Come on with it.
Yeah, come on.
Don't they resist.
That's true.
You know, y'all ain't get no Facebook page. That's fine. But you know, you're gonna miss out on things, social media, you know, that's all right, but you're gonna miss out on some things that you can enjoy, you know, in your life, but you're resisting the change. That's how these children of Israel were. They were resisting the changes, so they just had to keep going what? Round and around and around till you're not gonna make it, baby. Sorry. You just gonna drop off. Right. Next. This is a good one. The journey transformed the people. How did they change? So they started out, their experience from the place that they started at in Egypt to the time that they got to Canaan, the promised land. The experience transformed them. Because they started out what? They was enslaved people. They got slave mentality. They was crushed. They was scared. They got subservient thoughts. They were very dependent. And by the time they finished, either they had been crushed and beat down and brought out, or either they became initiative. They had initiative. They had self-respect. They was angry at oppression, and even they learned how to fight. Because before they didn't even know how to fight. Isn't that something? They had to come in the wilderness. They had to learn how to fight. So that journey helped them. We're going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks some of the things that they experienced, how they boxed at God, fighting God back, all kind of stuff. But guess what? By the time they finish with God, finished with them, you bring yourself under. You know, remember I told you last week, God said, you know what, Moses? Let's just wipe this crew out. We'll start over. They ain't not getting it. Isn't that something? Remember, this journey will show you the long suffering of God, because God really, at one point, he was like, I'm just going to start over. This ain't working. This is not working.
Yeah, he tried to drown them. He tried.
And if it had not been for Moses, y'all know Moses was the what? The intercessor. Hadn't been for Moses said, well, God, no, you can't. God, no, you can't do that now, God. And you could do that because you God, but God, you don't really want to do that. But now, you're going to be looking like a fool pretty much. You know, you done brought these people from Egypt. You done brought them out here. And they going to say, the people going to say that you was not able to keep them after you brought them out. And that's when God said, okay, I can do that. But guess what? They ain't going to get in the promised land. Some of them, they not going in. You can cry and holler all you want, but those are not getting to go in the promised land. So God compromised kind of started with Moses. Ain't it something? Because he's interceding on behalf of the people. So we're going to be talking about intercession one of these Wednesdays. All right, so where are we? Next one, Iris. The next one says, don't despise your journey trying to get to the promise. I just threw that one in there.
Oh.
That right there. What happened to it? Go back. Keep going. Go back. Oh, how I missed that? Well, anyway, right in y'all know. Don't despise your journey trying to get to the promise. Don't look so much trying to get to where you're going that you miss out on what's going on every single day. The steps that you're taking to get to where you're going. Don't be so excited about, you know, girl, I'm getting you a mansion. How you gonna kill yourself to get it? You know, no, take it step by step. Enjoy your life trying to get there. Don't go past all that, put your eyes so much on over there that you miss every day. Y'all know, like, for instance, you know, when y'all ever heard of people like people in the military, when they go away, they come back and their children are, you know, up some size. They be like, dog, I missed the whole journey. I missed all of that. Now my child, I don't even really know my child, but now they're up a good size, you know, they miss all of that. So God said, don't miss all of that good stuff, them learning how to eat, learning how to walk, learning to talk and all of that, because you're trying to get way over there. You're trying to take them giant steps to get over there. No, enjoy your step by step as you go along the way. All right? All right. Now let's get to it. Okay, so this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about this preparation. Because the journey ain't started yet. You know? They ain't started, okay? When the journey started, they've left Egypt. They're now at Mount Sinai. They're supposed to be preparing to get to the promise from this point, okay? They're at this point. But they can't leave yet because now, before you can start going somewhere, guess what you got to do? You got to put some things, in order. You got to make some preparation. You can't just, all these millions of people, y'all just get up and start walking out. You know, how you going to get there? Who lead you? How you going? It's no little haphazard. We say everybody, it's like, when somebody said fire, and everybody just run out at the same time. If they ain't made a plan for, okay, no, this side will get it first, this side, whatever. They had to make a plan. It had to be structured. It had to be set in place. There's too many people to try to get to the promised land. They got all these millions of people, y'all just go start tracking. How you going? What direction you going in? You don't even know, so there had to be some preparation. So before we can start on this journey, we got to do some preparation. All right, so let's go to Numbers chapter 1. The first thing we're going to do is take the census. Y'all know the people from the census come, they trying to get me to come to work. I said, what was y'all in 2018 when I applied for this job? Census taking, Numbers chapter 1. Again, at verse 1, it says, now the Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the tabernacle of meeting on the first day of the second month in the second year after they had come out of the land of Egypt, saying, take a census of all the congregation of the children of Israel by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names, every male individually, from 20 years old and above, all who are able to go to war in Israel. You and Aaron shall number them by their armies. Okay, so first thing they got to do, they got to figure out who's in the camps. Okay, and so if you read the rest of chapter 1, they start calling all the names, all the people that they counted, and then the ones that ended up being the leaders. Okay. And so before you can start on the journey, you got to figure out what you got, because we know we're going to encounter opposition as we go along the way. So we got to have able-bodied men who can fight on our behalf. So I need to figure out, God has said, you got to know first of all how many able-bodied men you got, 21 years old and older. That's what they were counting in the census. Now they didn't count the women and they didn't count the children. That's how we know they got a couple of million people, because you probably got 3 times that amount. You know what I'm saying? So how many the men were, you probably got 3 times that much. When you count the women and the children. Okay, so that's the first thing they do. Who's going? So we're going on a journey. Y'all better say like Joshua said, as for me and my house, what? Everybody going. Everybody's going. Ain't nobody getting that. They ain't leaving nobody at the house. We all going to the Lord. We all go serve the Lord. That was the first thing. All right, next. Who's leading? I didn't see you the right one. So who's leading? First of all, we already know that Moses is the leader. The second leader is who? Aaron. We know that Aaron is what? What is Aaron? Anybody? Huh?
I'm a baby.
No. No.
Aaron
The high priest. Aaron is the high priest. All right. So we already know. Y'all know what the high priest do? I can't hear you. Speak up.
Go in and pray.
Oh, she said the high priest go in and pray. What else?
He said, he's the one that communicates with God for the people.
Okay.
And then if whatever God has to say to the people, then he brings it back out to them.
Okay.
So he's the one that goes in, does the atonement. He's the one that goes in and he's also an intercessor too, because he's standing between God and the people.
Okay. So Aaron is like so let me see how it was said. So the Moses is like their general, I would say. And Aaron would be more like their worship leader. That makes sense. That's what I put on the bucket. He's more like a worship leader. Aaron will be, because he is the one that does all of the, I hate to say religious activities, but all of the stuff that concerns prayer and making sure the people are accepted before God, and offering up the sacrifices on behalf of the people and all of that. That's Aaron's job, okay? That's Aaron's job. So that's the leader. Then in Numbers chapter 1, look at verse number 16 through 19. Somebody read. I'm going to let somebody else read this. Chapter 1, verse 16 through 19.
19. These were the men appointed from the community, the leaders of their ancestral tribes. They were the heads of the clans of Israel. Moses and Aaron took these men whose names had been specified, and they called the whole community together on the first day of the second month. The people registered their ancestors by their clans and families, and the men 20-year-old or more were listed by name, one by one, as the Lord commanded Moses. And so he counted them in the desert of Sinai.
Okay, now jump over to verse 47 and read 47 through 53.
The ancestral tribes of the Levites, however, were not counted along with the others. The Lord had said to Moses, "You must not count the tribe of Levi or include them in the census of the other Israelites. Instead, appoint the Levites to be in charge of the tabernacle of the covenant law, over all its furnishing and everything belonging to it. They are to carry the tabernacle in all its furnishing. They are to take care of it and encamp around it." You say 53? Whenever the tabernacle is to move, the Levites are to take it down. And whenever the tabernacle is to be set up, the Levites shall do it. Anyone else who approaches it is to be put to death. The Israelites are to set up their tents by divisions, each of them in their own camp under their standard. The Levites, however, are to set up their tents around the tabernacle of the covenant law, so that my wrath will not fall on the Israelite community. The Levites are to be responsible for the care of the tabernacle of the covenant law. And 54.
That's it?
54. The Israelites did all of this just as the Lord commanded Moses.
All right, so do y'all see what's happening? So what is God doing? He's setting leaders in order, in place, so that how many tribes is? 12. Every tribe going to have what? A leader. So you got Moses, you got Aaron. Every tribe got a leader. And then they break it down even more, some. And then who do the Levites go to? The Levites actually belongs to Aaron. The Levites go with Aaron. They belong to Aaron. They work with Aaron in taking care of the tabernacle. They report to Aaron. Okay, these are the ones. So whenever, remember, this is a traveling camp, and so they are going to be responsible for setting up the tabernacle. Every time they go, whenever they go, they set up the tabernacle, because everybody can't do that. Y'all understand? Everybody can't do that. The Levites have been chosen specifically for this purpose, to set up the camp, the tabernacle, to put all the parts of the tabernacle in, all the dishes, everything that they use in it, and they got even 3 parts Levites. I can't remember all their names now. Everybody had a specific. Some was responsible for the curtains. Some was responsible for the utensils. It was very, very specific and very, very orderly. Y'all hear me? Very, very specific, so that nothing get left behind. Nothing get looked over. when God was ready, then they had to be ready. So who will do that? Who will sweep the floor? No, everybody already knew. Okay, if it's this time, then what? I'm responsible. If it's the next time, then the next person is responsible. It was very scheduled, very structured, very orderly. All right? And then, let's see, the next one. All right? Everyone has a place, Iris. Iris over there going to sleep. Y'all can't see that. Everybody has a place. I hope y'all get what God is saying now, too. Because He's talking to us about the Israelites, but He's talking to us, too. All right?
All right.
That good old order, that structure, without being all that chaos in your life. You know, a lot of times church people like to say, let God have His way, which that is true. If they take that to mean, let's do whatever. We just come and wait on God. God is a very ordered and very structured God. We see that right here, when He got even the little forks. Iris, you responsible for the forks. You make sure you pick up these forks when we get ready to leave. Now to the last little thing. Is a very ordered God. All right. Now the placement of the tribes. All right. So that's the next thing. Let's look at Numbers chapter 2, verse 2. Who's there? And then verse 34. Numbers chapter 2, verse 2, and Numbers chapter 2, verse 34. Somebody read those two verses.
The people of Israel shall camp each by his own standard, with the banners of their fathers' houses. They shall camp facing the tent of meeting on every side. That's 2:2.
Okay, do 34.
Thus did the people of Israel, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So they camped by the standards, and so they set out, each one in his clan, according to his father's house.
Now, I sent Iris the wrong PowerPoint because I had a picture of y'all of the camp, the order of the camp. Y'all seen it before, is that, so the tabernacle always set in the middle. We got 12 tribes, remember, so what? You got 4 on each side. All right? We know that the tribe of Yah, the Judah, is on what side? The east side. Because you got to come through what? The east gate. All right? And it's set up that way. Then on the inside is where the Levites, they got their sides. So they got 3 areas of Levites. One on one side, one on that side, and one on that side. And then Moses and Aaron is stay usually in the middle, somewhere around in the middle of that. So even in that, what is God saying to us about placement? So God, what you said about placement? Everybody got a place. Y'all hear that? Everybody had their own place. They had their own place. They had their own symbol. They had their own flag? They talked about the standards. Y'all saw that? So, whenever we do the Feast of Tabernacles every year, we talk about that standard, that flag. What is your flag? What does it represent? Every tribe had that so that everybody knew exactly, because when they got ready to leave out, it was a certain order. You didn't just get to say, I'm going to go first today. No, you don't get to go first. We go in the same order every single time. That's why they had the tribal leaders, so that the tribal leaders are telling them, okay, it's time to get ready to go. Let's pack our stuff so that we can get to go. So what is that saying to us? That sometimes we like to, how should I say this? Make sure you're in the in the lane. That's what we say. Stay in your lane. Why do we tell people to stay in your lane? Because you will cause confusion. You're not over the health ministry, so why are you over there? You can't even cook. You don't even like serving the people. That's what's more than anything. You don't like people like that. So get off that health ministry. Go with that media somewhere where you got less impact with people. Y'all understand? Everybody, nobody got left behind. Everybody had their own placement. Everybody had a place in the camp. These are the people of God, right? Showing you how our lives operate too. Nobody's left behind. Everybody has a place. Everybody needs something. Everybody is important. But we just got to learn how to what? To follow instructions. Because we all going to the same place, remember?
Right.
We all going to the place of promise. We all going. But we got to go in the order that God what instructed us to go. You can't jump ahead and say, I want to do it this way. Why they need to go? Why y'all get to be the one in the east? Because that's what God is saying. All of it's for purpose. All of it's for purpose and it means something. Everybody in their places, and you know, that's why you got a leader. That's why you got individual leaders. That's why you got certain, things that happen on outside the church and certain things happen inside. You got what? Leaders. Because God has what? Instituted leadership to be able to make sure that whatever we do it what? In an orderly manner. And that we won't get to the promised land. Because otherwise, if we didn't have that order, we didn't have that structure, guess what? You would never get there. You never get there. Because everybody will want to jump in the front and they still did that. Even with the order set. We're going to see later on in the next couple of chapters or so, even with all that order set, we got people getting upset about this and getting upset about that, upset about what we eat and how we used to eat and all kind of craziness. That's why, remember what we said? The purpose was what? They got to get this old mentality out of them. And so what journey we're on, think about the journey that you're on, a lot of times, that you are experiencing things in your life or your journey, but they are to help you. Everything that you're experiencing in your life should be able to help you. Good, bad, and indifferent. Everybody understand? It's all in how you respond to the situation. If you respond in a negative way, guess what? You're going to be just like them children of Israel, going round and round in the wilderness because what? You hadn't guided it yet. Your mind has not been transformed yet. So what? You got to go round. Another experience got to come your way. Another life lesson, another situation got to come your way so that you can get it. We don't know why things happen the way they happen. I told you that story, but I'm going to tell you that story again. This is a story about me, about this. Okay, so I had a great job. I worked for the state government for a long time. And so, I worked in HR. Most of my experience was working in HR, okay? And then, so one year, this lady said, I got a job coming up, I want you to apply for. And it was in victim services. The job was in victim services. Well, the lady that she asked me to apply for, it was a lady, she was actually our agency attorney because I worked with her a good bit on that whenever we had, employees that had issues, disciplinary kind of stuff, we would always talk to her to make sure we're doing right, we're not firing somebody or whatever, we're doing it right. So, I had gotten to know her very well. That's how I knew. So when this job came over, she asked me, I'm like, what? Lady, you must be crazy. I ain't get no one interested in that, But even though I was saying no, but something wasn't quite settled. Going back to being satisfied. I love my HR job. I love my supervisor. I love my co-workers. We had a great time. It was a great job. I understood my job. I could do it front and backwards. And so now God has called me to a place that I don't know anything about. And God pretty much pushed me over into that position. Now it was an elevation place. It was a management position. I had a whole program that I was responsible for myself. Now that was that. Now, and God, I'm going to show you something. That's what God did. I had 7 years of hell. I'm going to tell you now, 7 years of hell. Pure hell. When I tell you, 7 years of hell. Because I went to a place where the people didn't want me there. My supervisor, even though she was awesome, guess what? I don't know how, it wasn't long after that. They ended up firing her. So now I got a new supervisor that they said about Joseph, who knew not me. We didn't kind of get along. We clicked a good little bit, We just, it didn't, It was a hard 7 years, but I don't know how to even explain it because I had so much growth in those 7 years. So much growth for me as a person, because me as a person, my personality was always, the people that I worked with most of the time is people that I wanted to work with, and we got along very well. I had never been, well, I ain't say never. I would say this was one of the least times that I had been involved in a working environment where the people that I worked with didn't really want me there. Y'all know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to pray. There was a lesson in prayer, a season of much prayer, of trusting God, but knowing that you're in the will of God. Does that make sense? I knew God had called me to that place to fulfill purpose. And it's where God set me up that I was able to retire when I retired. So sometimes, you know, we like to fight against, and we think, another time we've been rebuking the devil. You know, rebuking the devil. No, that wasn't the devil. God set me up like that. He told me, you always think everybody's going to like you. In life, it's not like that, honey. Everybody's not going to like you. So you need to learn that lesson. I was like, ooh, but I'm such a nice person. I treat people right, Lord, you know. So on your journey, you know, instead of responding to, you know, why the devil did it, why I'm like this, oh Lord, why me, the people talking about me, oh, why the people don't like me, you can't respond like that on this journey. Remember, God is for you. And if God is for you, you got to recognize that on my journey, on my path, there will come things in my life that I might not necessarily like, that I don't necessarily understand. But I am a woman of faith. I'm a man of faith. And so I got to stand here and I got to press my way on through that until God tells me He's released me. I learned my lesson. I've got what I came for, whatever, and I can move on.
Jesus.
Don't be trying to get off that potter's wheel before it's time. Let God do what He's doing in your life. Them bad experiences, these experiences are going to do what? Transform you. To be a better you. To get everything in you that's not like God, that's resisting God, that's holding you up from moving to the things in God, those things in you. That's what them experiences do if you let them do what they do. But a lot of times we stay in them longer because we're resisting what God is trying to do. We giving the devil credit for it. Satan, the Lord rebuke you. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Get behind me, say, blood of Jesus. You say. And the devil over there laughing because he knows he will take credit for it, but he ain't got nothing to do with it. That's a God thing. Sit down there and learn that lesson.
Jesus.
I did too. God released. I was like, Lord, you know, I was like, Lord, how long, please get me out of this place, get out of this fire, till I learned the lesson. Yeah, Jesus. Help.
Ooh, Father God.
You know it's 7 years. All 7 were bad. You know what I'm saying? You had to go reprise. You had, some of the people I ended up getting, we got all right. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But it was a tough year of learning, of growing, for me psychologically, financially, all of those things. And I want the money I got to go through. And I want to be the boss. Guess what? It's going to cost.
Hey.
It's going to cost to be the boss. I'll tell you that now. All right, a few more minutes and then we're going to quit for the night. So everybody understand that, everybody got their place. So wherever your place is, don't despise the place that you are. Don't despise where you are. Just make sure you keep moving forward. All right, let's look at Numbers chapter 3. So now we're talking about the worship of it. We already said that the priesthood and the Levites, they work hand in hand together as holy separated unto the Lord for the special work. Remember, they didn't really get counted in the rest of Israel. They weren't even really supposed to work or anything like that because God said, I am their portion. They didn't get an inheritance. They didn't get any lands and stuff like that when they got to the promised place because God said, I am their portion. I'm going to take care of them. Everything that comes through here, they're supposed to work for me. They're here to provide service to me, minister unto the Lord, and to minister to God's people, to help the people. That's what the priests and the Levites, that's their job. So let's look at it for a second in chapter 3. Who's there? Get at verse 5. All right, go ahead. Do it. 9 to 10, 5 to 10.
The Lord said to Moses, bring the tribe of Levi and present them to Aaron the priest to assist him. They are to perform duties for him and for the whole community at the tent of meeting by doing the work of the tabernacle. They are to take care of all the furnishing of the tent of meeting, fulfilling the obligations of the Israelites by doing the work of the tabernacle. Give the Levites to Aaron and his sons. They are the Israelites who are to be given wholly to him. Appoint Aaron and his sons to serve as priests. Anyone else who approaches the sanctuary is to be put to death.
Ooh, y'all see that? Ooh. No, sometimes you read this stuff in the Old Testament. Y'all just say thank you God for your grace and your mercy.
Thank you.
God, so this stuff, you don't supposed to even come near it. That's how holy and separated and sanctified that this portion of the ministry was, the tabernacle, the stuff that's in it. Remember, if you go back to the book of Leviticus, you will see how God even, set them up, how he sanctified them, how he set them apart, how their garments had to be a certain place, how their garments had to be holy. All of these things in order for them to be able to minister in the tabernacle. Just knowing, that's why, we do still need to be careful. We need to take some of these lessons and learn that, when you're approaching God, when you're approaching worship, when you're approaching this, like that, this is a sanctified time. This is a holy time. Your manner, your posture should not be any, okay, I come and flop down in the chair. It's time to worship. I flop down in the chair. I just come, I'm just here. I'm just waiting for Isha and them in that praise team to get on up there so they can start singing me happy. No, it shouldn't be like that.
All right.
Come on now.
It shouldn't be like that because it's a sacred time. It's a sacred moment. Now you are what? The priest of the Lord. Remember? We're not the high priest, but you are a priest of the Lord. And the priest of the Lord should know how to come before God and make presentations to God, just like the Levites do. Everybody will have their own place. Remember, everybody has their place. So we should be working together, the Levites and the priests of God, working, worshiping God together to lift up a holy sound and a holy aroma to heaven. It shouldn't be the Levites' place to try to make people worship God. No, because of who you are, your relationship with God is why you come, to worship Him. So that was their job. He said, what? Don't y'all come over here trying to touch this stuff. Don't do it. Don't do it, or else you're going to be put to death. And so the Aaron and the priests had their part, and then the Levites had their part to make sure that the worship went forward. All right? Okay, last one. All right? Now you got to follow who? The heavenly leader. Numbers chapter 9. So all them chapters in between talks about, some of the stuff that the Levites were supposed to do, how they handled. God gave them instruction on what colors the curtains and stuff was, how they're supposed to package the stuff up, how they roll stuff together and all of that. So in all those other chapters, y'all go back and read it, okay? We're going to jump all the way over to chapter 9. All right, so we got our stuff together. We got our encampment. We got our leaders. We got everybody in their place. We know how many people we got. We got all of these things in order. And then in chapter 9, verse 15. Who's reading? 15 through 23.
On the day that the tabernacle was set up, a cloud covered the tabernacle, the tent of the testimony. And at the evening it was over the tabernacle, like the appearance of fire until morning. So it was always the cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night. And whenever the cloud lifted from over the tent, after the people of Israel set out, and in the place where the cloud settled down, there the people of Sometimes the cloud was a few days over the tabernacle, and according to the command of the Lord, they remained in camp. Then according to the command of the Lord, they set out. And sometimes the cloud remained from evening until morning, and when the cloud lifted in the morning, they set out. Or if it continued for a day and a night, when the cloud lifted, they set out. Whether it was 2 days, or a month, or a longer time, the cloud continued over the tabernacle, abiding there. The people of Israel remained in camp and did not set out, but when it lifted, they set out. At the command of the Lord, they camped, and at the command of the Lord, they set out. They kept the charge of the Lord, and at the command of the Lord by Moses.
All right, y'all see that? So how did they know when to go? God told them when to leave. God told them when to stop, stop. When they stopped, what they had to do? Everybody put up your tents, put your little stuff up, get in your encampment. You know which area you're supposed to be in. Everybody knew what they're supposed to do. They did not move without God. Uh-oh. Y'all hear that? They did not move to the next location without God. God told them when and how. Okay, it's time to move. When they saw it, then Moses told, then the word would get out. Then Moses told the rest of them, okay, it's time for us to go. The cloud is lifting, it's time to go. So he didn't listen. So Moses didn't run around running to everybody. See, it's time to go. Maya, it's time to go. Sharice, it's time to go. Shirley, it's time to go. No, Moses didn't do that. Who did he go to? Who y'all think he went to? No, the tribal leaders. Remember, you got tribal leaders. You got tribal leaders. You didn't have time to run to all the millions of people telling them it's time to go. That's why you got what? Tribal leaders. Tribal leaders, it's time to go. So the tribal leaders will get, but then beyond the tribal leaders, then they got divisions, you know, got their little clans and all of that. So you got other leaders down below, you know, as you're going on. Y'all know how organization structure. That's all it really is. Y'all know how the organization structure chart. Y'all ever seen one? Person at the top, that person at the top, he don't talk to the people. He don't even know the people. No, y'all don't know the people in the mail.
Jesus.
You know, that's why you got leaders. You know, all the way down. And so, you know, whenever God moved, when he told them to move, and so in chapter 10, it said that the Lord said to Moses, make the trumpets of hammered silver and use them for calling the community together. So whenever Moses blew that trumpet, y'all know what I'm saying? It means certain alerts meant certain things. You know, the long alerts meant something, the quick alerts meant something, so they knew, okay, that's the long alert, so let's go, it's time to go. Let's get our stuff together. Go ahead, so y'all see how orderly God is? A very orderly God.
Thank you, Jesus.
And then at the end of that chapter, they begin to set out as the Lord told them to. All right? So let's do the recap. It's the last thing. So let's look back at what we've learned tonight. So first of all, we learned that the purpose of the journey is for transformation, that the destination is the promised land, but the journey to the promised land must bring about the transformation. The journey reveals what's on the inside. The journey reveals the long suffering of God. We're going to be talking about that again next week. Who's going on the journey? Who all going on the journey? Y'all got that? We're going to go to the next one. Y'all got that? Oh, that's the last one. That's the last one. Recap too. Who's going on this journey of transformation to the promise? Who are the leaders in your life? Uh-oh. What about your place? Are you in position? What about your worship? Are you worshiping God? And what about the leader, the heavenly leader? Are you following God? I ain't got time to talk about all that. I'll talk about that next week. Okay, recap. I want to recap where it hits us a little bit more than the children of Israel. Is your journey, the experiences and things that you're encountering in your life, are they helping you or hurting you? Think about that. Are they helping you or hurting you? If you say they're hurting you, then why? Why are they hurting you? Is it because you don't lack the feelings? You don't lack the emotions. You don't lack what you're going through. You don't lack the tough place that you're in.